Let me guess what happened. Last fall, you raked up all those leaves, made a pile, maybe turned it once or twice. By spring, you expected rich, dark compost. But when you checked, it was just wet, matted leaves. Still recognizable, still useless. That pile is still sitting there, isn't it? 2 years later, 3 years later, just rotting leaves that never become soil. Here is what nobody told you. The problem is not time. The problem is not moisture. The problem is chemistry. And there is a liquid, one simple liquid, that breaks the lock and turns those leaves into finished fertilizer in less than 3 weeks. This is the story of a method that farmers and homesteaders have used for generations, a method that was never lost, just never taught, because there is nothing to sell. Welcome to Earth Secret Archive. Before we open this archive, if these stories matter to you, the best way to preserve this knowledge is simple. Subscribe, hit the bell, and share these archives with those who need to remember what we forgot. The archive opens inside the pile itself, because once you understand what is actually happening in there, you will never compost wrong again. Leaves are almost pure carbon. When they fall from trees, they are designed to resist decomposition. That is their evolutionary purpose, to release nutrients over years, not weeks. The carbon molecules are tightly bonded in complex structures called lignin and cellulose. Bacteria cannot break those bonds easily. They need help. When you pile leaves by themselves, bacteria do show up, but they are starving. They need nitrogen to build proteins, to reproduce, to generate the energy required to break down carbon. Without nitrogen, they work incredibly slowly. A single leaf can take 3 to 5 years to fully decompose, and in a thick, wet pile where oxygen cannot penetrate, it takes even longer or never happens at all. This is called the carbon-to-nitrogen ratio problem. For rapid composting, you need a ratio of about 30 to 1. 30 parts carbon to 1 part nitrogen. Leaves alone sit at 60 to 1 or higher. Too much carbon, not enough nitrogen. The biological engine cannot fire, but here is what changes everything. If you add a concentrated nitrogen source in liquid form, the ratio shifts. Bacteria explode in population, and the pile transforms. The liquid is high nitrogen compost tea. You can make it 2 ways, and both are free or nearly free. The first is manure tea. If you have access to chicken manure, rabbit manure, or aged horse manure, fill a 5-gallon bucket halfway with manure. Add water to the top. Let it sit for 3 to 5 days, stirring once a day. The nitrogen leaches out of the manure and dissolves into the water. What you get is a dark, potent, nitrogen-rich liquid that bacteria absolutely devour. It costs nothing if you have animals or know someone who does. The second is blood meal tea. Blood meal is dried animal blood, a byproduct of meat processing. It contains about 12% nitrogen by weight. You can find it at any garden center for a few dollars. Mix 1 cup into a gallon of warm water. Stir until dissolved. You have just created a nitrogen activator that will wake up any leaf pile. Here is how you use it. Build your leaf pile in layers. For every 6 inches of leaves, pour the nitrogen liquid over the layer until it is thoroughly soaked. Then add the next layer. Pour more liquid. Keep layering. What you are doing is inoculating every level of the pile with nitrogen. You are removing the limiting factor. Bacteria respond immediately. Within 24 to 48 hours, you will notice heat. Stick your hand into the center of the pile. It will be warm. Within 3 to 4 days, it will be hot. 130 to 160 degrees Fahrenheit. You will see steam rising on cool mornings. That heat is bacteria working at maximum capacity, breaking carbon bonds, reproducing by the millions. The pile is alive. After about a week, turn the pile. Move the outside material to the center and the center to the outside. This redistributes bacteria and oxygen. The pile heats up again. Turn it once more after another week. By day 18 to 21, the leaves will have collapsed. What was a 4-foot-tall pile of crunchy leaves is now a 1-foot pile of dark, crumbly, soil-like compost. It smells like forest floor. Compare that to standard leaf composting. No nitrogen added, just leaves and time. You are looking at 18 months to 4 years for the same result. And often it never fully breaks down, just becomes matted sludge. The difference is nitrogen. One ingredient, one chemical key. And suddenly biology works the way it was designed to. Now here is the part the industry does not talk about. If you do not have manure and do not want to buy blood meal, there is a third option. Human urine. It contains roughly 10% nitrogen. It is sterile when fresh. It is free. Dilute it 10-to-1 with water and use it the same way. Nitrogen is nitrogen. The chemistry does not care where it comes from. You can also add fresh green plant material as a nitrogen source. Grass clippings, vegetable scraps, weeds that have not gone to seed. For every 3 to 4 inches of leaves, add 1 inch of green material. Then water it well. The greens decompose quickly and feed the bacteria, breaking down the carbon. A few things matter for success. Size matters. A compost pile needs to be at least 3 feet wide, 3 feet deep, and 3 feet tall to generate and hold heat. Smaller piles lose heat too quickly. Mass creates thermal mass. Thermal mass sustains bacterial activity. Moisture is critical. The pile should feel like a wrung-out sponge, damp but not dripping. Too dry and bacteria cannot function. Too wet and oxygen gets pushed out, creating anaerobic conditions that smell terrible. And if you can, shred the leaves first. Smaller pieces have more surface area. More surface area means more places for bacteria to attach and work. Shredded leaves with nitrogen liquid can finish in as little as 10 to 14 days. So if this works so well, why does nobody teach it? Because there is no product to sell. Manure is free if you have animals or know someone who does. Urine is free. Blood meal costs a few dollars and makes gallons of solution. Grass clippings are yard waste. There is no recurring purchase, no brand loyalty, no profit margin. The composting industry sells bins, tumblers, activators, thermometers, aerators, and books. They need you to believe composting is complicated, that it requires special equipment, that it takes time and expertise. If everyone knew you could compost a year's worth of leaves in 3 weeks with free materials, that entire market shrinks. So the information stays buried. Not suppressed, just never amplified. Meanwhile, farmers and homesteaders who have been composting for generations know this. Organic growers know this. Anyone composting at scale knows this because waiting years for leaves to break down is not realistic when you are producing food. You need compost now. Nitrogen makes it happen. Here is your step-by-step. Collect leaves. Shred them if possible. Build your pile in layers. 6 inches of leaves, pour nitrogen liquid until damp. Repeat. Build at least 3 feet in all dimensions. Within 2 days, check for heat. If it is heating, let it work. Turn once a week. After 18 to 21 days, you have finished compost. Use it anywhere you would use store-bought compost. Mix it into garden beds before planting. Top dress around perennials. Add it to potting soil. Spread it on your lawn. This is pure organic matter. Everything plants need to thrive. And you made it from waste. From leaves you would have sent to the landfill, from materials nobody else wanted, from nothing. The proof is in the temperature and the timeline. If your pile does not heat up within 48 hours, you did not add enough nitrogen. Add more liquid. If it heats and then cools without breaking down the leaves, it needs turning to reintroduce oxygen. If it smells like ammonia, you have too much nitrogen. Add more dry leaves to balance the ratio. The pile will tell you what it needs. You just have to pay attention. Every leaf that falls in your yard is free fertility waiting to happen. Stop sending it to the landfill. Stop waiting years for nature to do what nitrogen does in days. Add the missing key and turn waste into wealth in less than 3 weeks. The system works. The chemistry is simple. The results are fast. Everything you need, you already have. You do not need to buy compost. You do not need special equipment. You just need nitrogen, carbon, moisture, and oxygen. Nature does the rest. If this archive opened something for you, subscribe to Earth Secret Archive and hit the bell. Every like and every share helps preserve what was nearly erased. The next archive opens soon.